Let's talk about those meta-shifting cards that we're going to be finding in Burst Protocol. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that Exosister button so you guys don't miss out on more Oz content. So Exosister is going to be one of those very interesting topics of conversation going forward because this is the one time that TCG localization might have actually kicked this in the teeth, and I'm not exactly too excited to be seeing that we might be seeing some disappointment with this one. That being said, though, I still think Exosister is going to be a strong competitor. I think a lot of people are going to naturally gravitate towards it, but your experiences with this deck are going to be a little bit more limited for what you're going to be able to do because it just doesn't feel all that exciting right now for what the deck can initially do. I mean, getting the ability to set up a couple of Exceed monsters. It'll depend on if you can splash this into some other decks or not. Ryzel's still got some components in the Rank 4 toolbox that might be looking to try this out. K9X Ripper M. So this card is supposed to be pretty good, but we did lose a lot of our K9 package recently on the ban list, which might actually make this a little bit rough. I mean, it has piercing damage. If this card is special summoned by the effect of a K9 spell and trap card, you can target up to 2 cards in the opponent's graveyard or banishment and shovel them back into the deck. And when the opponent activates a monster effect, detach 2 from this to negate that effect, and then destroy all cards on the field. Yeah, it actually board wipes itself, which is not exactly the most exciting thing in the world, but I think I'm willing to see, what, this card will actually be able to bring to the table for K9. I assume that they'll try to play it because they'll be like, well, we do have access to maybe a floating spell and trap card in the background, which, sure, man, I will give him a little bit of credit. Maybe there is something to be had with Ripper M, but he's still staying top 10. The new Dracotail Fusion monster. Losing 2 of your biggest pieces in the deck has had people kind of looking around, kind of being confused with what they could do. Now, the new Dracotail Fusion includes a nice line of text that says you can target 2 Dracotail cards in your graveyard and a face-up card on the field of the same type, monster, spell, or trap, as one of them, and then shuffle 2 into the deck, and if 2 or more cards are sent to the graveyard at the same time, those cards in your graveyard and special summon this card. We don't really feel that this card was all that good until you realize, oh, hey, the ban list has limited my pieces. This allows me to recycle those pieces on a 2400 attack point body. I think that that's actually an interesting point of discussion for the deck. You actually have to analyze and actually consider this card as a one-of going forward because you need to have recyclability within the deck. If you just blow through your pieces and you're just like la-di-da-di-da, I mean, it just falls apart. Zalen, the Shackled Dragon. Now, this one is going to strictly depend on how good we are going to still see the little deck from this set doing well. God, that was such a terrible wording. It's going to depend on how the tuner access is going to be and if this deck is actually going to be enough to see play before, we get its additional line of support. I'm kind of worried that it's not going to initially take off. Zalen is a good card for going down the chain links and being able to zap things, but until we get the additional 3 cards in the next set, this deck is just not going to take off. Cool Tunes are really going to struggle with that initial thought. So, I mean, Zalen is going to be a good card. You are going to run into some Elvin Notes players that are going to ruin your day with this card because they're going to know how to appropriately use it, and it's going to be bad. Rockets. So Rockets are a fever dream right now, or Dragon Link in general. So all I have seen from people looking at this are going, oh, hey, we're finally going to get to play some Dragon Link, everybody. And as you kind of look around the room, you kind of come to the conclusion and the realization, oh yeah, you are going to get to play some Dragon Link. And then you realize, okay, cool, so we can set up some very crazy monsters. They can't sphere mode the big rocket monster. You're feeling pretty good about your life. Unfortunately, an Albulenitus getting set, or an Albulenitus contact fusion off with a Fallen of Albaz is going to rip apart many a boards that this has, because you can't actually do anything about a set Fallen of Albaz in the deck. and that's going to cause a lot of problems. Yeah, getting a whole bump contact fusion is going to be an incredibly crazy time out here. I think Rockets will do fine, but with Dracotail and Branded playing, full steam ahead, the Twin Storm Deities of Divine Thunder, I think that this is going to be one of the coolest cards that we have had come out. Not only because Radiant Typhoon is going to be able to play this, it's also because like the casual Rokket or the casual Synchro player is also going to get access to making this, because it's any win monster, man. So Stardust Dragon literally checks the marks for this so that you can actually play this. And I think that that's actually kind of exciting. We don't talk enough about, cool access to little options and things like that, but that's what we're going to be getting. And, we take those, honestly. Quicker access to certain control cards is going to be very, very nice. So, yes, free board wipe regeneration is going to come up very, very strongly. And then there's Elvin Notes. I feel like Elvin Notes is going to be one of those strong cards that you are going to look at and you're just going to go, oh, hey, this engine you're able to manipulate through columns, and people are going to be like, oh, that's not really worth it. And then you realize, oh, hey, there's a lot of good Synchro Toolbox stuff we have. Especially when you can start getting into some hand-ripping shenanigans, depending on the build that you're getting into. Anytime we see, somebody comes up with a Synchro hand rip, or, we can start to manipulate, 2 to 3 potential, interruptions, then we're starting to talk for the deck building process. So I am a little bit intrigued with this one. I think we might be sitting on probably one of the more interesting meta shifters in quite some time. But only time is going to tell where this is going to kind of fall in terms of meta. The Fallen of White. Well, this one shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. When you literally give Dracotail and you give Branded a brand new Fallen of Albaz, who, by the way, its job is to make or break, the consistency across multiple decks. It's a crazy concept to think about here. So I do think Fallen of White is going to be one of the most meta impacting cards that we are going to see out of this entire set. Only because across all of these different decks, how much it is truly going to make things change. And that's going to be a big meta game breaker, man. Truthfully, I think Fallen of White is going to be, it truly is going to make things a lot more interesting in the deck building space. I wonder if we'll actually have a Competent Sword Soul variant come out because of this. Let's talk about Forbidden Crown. So this one's interesting because Crown is a very broken card. But I mean, is it going to be the impactful metagame staple? I mean, it is number 2 in the set in terms of meta cards that we are truly expecting to make a difference. Because Crown's a card that we can use both offensively and defensively. We can use it to save ourselves from losing the game, but we can also use it on the opponent's monster to lock their monster in play so that we can just walk on over and bonk it on the head and just win the game because of that. That's quite an interesting concept, and that's going to make it a card that we're going to have to actually think about going forward. There's going to be a lot of times where you're going to look at your opponent and you're going to go, do you have the crown? If you have the crown, I lose. And it's just, you're going to be shaking your head in a lot of these scenarios because you're going to lose games that you shouldn't be losing because of that. So, I don't know. It's going to be a little bit of a coin flip, and I know a lot of people are going to be upset with it. Which brings us to Mercurium. Right now, Mercurium is the unlimited potential factor in this set, and I'm not exactly too sure how I feel about this, because at this point, it could be a big thing or it could be a bad thing. I don't know. I do know for a fact, though, that depending on how Mercurium is able to quickly access the monster that it's sucking under as material, it could make a difference. I don't know yet. It's going to be a scary thing, to say the least. But Mercurium right now seems like the best card in the set for the potential that it's generating. So what do you guys think about the best cards out of Burst Protocol? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. And I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.